All right, man. You ready for this?
Yeah, man. Let's get this delayed episode of the Fright Cap going. Kind of had to take a little break for current events that's going on right now. But we're back.
Hey, better late than never, right?
Yep.
All right, here we go. Three, two, one. Welcome back to the Fright Cap. What's up, everybody?
Welcome back, guys. Late Fright Cap.
A little late, you know.
Yeah.
A
All
little
right.
November, it's a November Fright Cap, but it still works.
It still works. It's kind of cold and rainy. Well, it was rainy, but it's very windy right now, much like the movie that we're gonna
Yeah, I was gonna say much
today.
like The Ring, and I'm not in Seattle, but it's
No,
giving those
I am
Seattle
not.
vibes. I don't know. It's maybe the weather knew what we're gonna be doing
Yeah,
tonight.
definitely whipping right now. But yeah.
What you
Cheers.
what
Cheers,
you drinking
guys.
tonight? Cheers.
I am drinking an Icelandic beer,
Oh,
Einstock. It's pretty good. It's
oh
pretty good
yeah. What kind
actually.
of beer is it?
White ale, not too hoppy. Not too hoppy. It's not IPA.
Okay, all right.
Very crisp,
I'm gonna check it
refreshing.
out. Sounds exotic. There's a little
Yeah.
whiskey and coke tonight.
Okay. All right. Now whiskey and coffee, like our missing reviewer,
Uh,
Rich.
Rich is missing in action again. To all his fans, to all the ladies out there, I'm sorry. Uh, couldn't make.
Hopefully he'll be back next episode.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure he'll be back soon. But let's get into this. I think this is gonna be the final episode of 2020, at least the Fry Cap.
Yeah. I'm kind of disappointed. The last Fright Cap of the year, but let's end it on a good note.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a pretty impactful movie when it came out in the early
Absolutely.
2000s. I remember watching it, and very popular film. Let's break into the synopsis real quick, and then we'll hop into our review. All right. So, The Ring is a 2002 American supernatural horror film directed by Gore Verbinski, starring Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson, David Dorfman, Brian Cox, and DeVay Chase. It's a remake of the 1998 Japanese horror film Ring, based off the novel of the same name by Koji Suzuki. Watts portrays a journalist who's investigating a cursed videotape that seemingly kills the viewer 7 days after watching it. The Ring paved the way for a bunch of English language remakes of the Asian horror films, such as The Grudge, Dark Water, Pulse, Shudder, The Echo, and The Uninvited. The movie had a budget of 48 million, and the box office was 249 million dollars. So it did very well.
Nice.
So yeah, what's your earliest memories of this movie?
My earliest, I actually watched this in the theater. When this came out, I want to say I was still working in a theater, my first ever job, and I watched it with some friends. And yeah, this was at that time it was really scary. Like my friend actually said, he was like, I had friends who couldn't sleep alone. Like after this movie, like I actually had coworkers in the theater that said like she slept with her sisters for a few days after they watched this movie. Like it was really impactful, like to a lot of people at this point, like when it first came out. So yeah, like I watched it in the theater. But me as a horror guy, I never thought it was ever really that scary.
Yeah,
But and then like in subsequent viewings, I appreciated more of like certain aspects of it, but not really the horror aspects.
hmm
But to me, it's still a great movie at that time. Like it was fresh. Like the take was fresh. Like if you want to, you
yeah,
know, elaborate on that, it wasn't a typical like ghost like movie that you would see, and I like the fresh take of it. Like 8 out of 10 for the plot for me.
yeah. I mean, I give it a 7 out of 10. I think you're right. I mean, like you're saying, it's a fresh take. At least for us in the West over here. I mean,
Hmm.
we're so used to the slasher films, these monster movies, the ghosts, the kind of archetypical, the
Yeah.
vampires. This was something different. It was something new, and so I think just that alone was cool. And looking back on it now too, I mean, this movie's aged pretty well as well. I mean, this movie's
Yeah.
20 years old, almost 20 years old, and
Almost.
it still looks, I don't want to get into production yet, but it still looks great. And just rewatching it now, it's aged fairly well. But like you said, I don't know that I was ever necessarily scared, but it just has a
Hmm.
very creepy vibe to it.
Yeah,
And
it definitely
overall, I thought it was cool.
definitely gave a new take on like a static channel on your TV.
Yeah,
Like
which I don't
like
know. I don't know if we can really like appreciate that now these days because we don't really see that
no, there's
anymore.
no more. Like I don't think so anymore.
Yeah. One thing I'll say too is that to me, in terms of the plot, one thing I liked about it too was it's very much, a mystery, and there's like a
Hmm.
detective side to this.
Yeah.
Watts's character as this journalist is trying to investigate and find out, what happened. and you kind of go along for the ride. And rewatching it now, I really appreciated that more than I did the first time. So I thought that was cool. And then also too, the kind of the head fakes they do towards the end, right? Where,
Yeah.
you're looking, towards Samara, and then, as the villain, and then you kind of have almost like sympathy for her at the end. You're thinking, okay,
Hmm.
it's going to end one way. And then they kind of almost give you like a false ending. And then at
Yeah,
the
they
end,
gave you almost
look
like
at
that
that.
a little
Yeah.
twist, happy ending. But spoiler alert, it wasn't a happy ending,
It
guys.
wasn't a happy ending, exactly. And so I appreciate that too. I thought that was creative and it was cool. But yeah, so overall for plot wise, I give it a 7.
Hmm.
But one thing I touched on a second ago, like I said, the production, it was very sharp, very crisp, heavy color grading. It was like the whole movie's cast like in this just bluish tint. It's raining the whole
Yeah.
time. But it's aged well, even the graphics and stuff.
Yeah, like it was if you said that this movie came out like last year, all right, I believe you.
Yeah.
Like this I really like the soundtrack of this because it really set a good mood to it. And like you said, like the whole rain, gray, blue, like pretty much aspect of the whole movie, it sets the tone because it almost looks the real life almost looks a little bit like the actual videotape, minus like the whole black and white
Yeah.
creepy thing. But
Yeah.
it matches. So like throughout the whole movie, I'm like, you're thinking, am I watching the videotape right now?
Mhm. Yeah, it feels immersive. The whole world feels immersive. It's just
Yeah.
like you said, the weather this whole time, everything, it really kind of brings you in. It's always damp, it's
Yeah.
raining even the inside. There's this theme of water constantly throughout there, right? You
Hmm.
have all these crazy kind of creepy visuals too of the actual videotape itself, right? That we see, and then she kind of pieces the puzzle together and finds out the mystery of this little girl, right? Who is
Yeah. Can
good,
I just
bad,
say though,
bad.
it's very irresponsible of her to keep that thing lying around, like in her house, just
Yes,
like
incredibly.
randomly just lying around for her kid to watch. And it also very irresponsible that she would take it to her work to make copies of it and then like have people around to maybe accidentally watch it.
Yeah.
Very, very irresponsible. I didn't like that. I didn't
Yeah,
like that.
it
All
was very
right.
responsible. But I think overall, I mean, it was just it's this movie's aged surprisingly well for me. And let's get into
Hmm.
even the performances itself. I mean, this movie is carried by Naomi Watts. I mean, she's the protagonist in this, and
Yes.
I don't know that it's like it has a heavy character plot. I mean, heavy character like arc, where she's really developing. But at the
No.
same time, it's pretty cool to see the little family dynamic with her and her son, and then like the estranged ex or whatever, and they're kind of growing together, kind of coming through here, trying to figure this out because they're all kind of in this predicament where they got like 7 days before they die, right? But she does a good job. I'm trying to think of a movie she's done before this that really got her like notoriety. The only thing I think of is Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, yeah, I was about to say that. I think that's the only movie that I actually know of her before this movie.
Yeah,
And
she's a great
yeah,
actress.
I can't think. I don't know. You might have to pull up her filmography to see if there was anything other than this. I think this was actually her stepping stone into like kind of like the big leagues or or what
Yeah,
have you.
it's kind of put her on the map, right? Um,
Hmm.
but also too in this, like this Brian Cox's character as the dad,
Yeah.
Mars' dad in here. And I wish he had a little bit of a bigger role in it. He's such a great actor, and
Yes.
he would be a great like push and pull to her. I wish they could have would have drew that out a little bit more. Other than that, the other characters, the ex-husband, Aiden's character, they're there, but they're kind of only there briefly. You're really following Naomi
Yeah.
Watts' character throughout it.
Yeah, like the acting I gave 19 out of 30. It may seem low, but that 19 was pretty much all for Naomi Watts. Everything else, I hated that kid. I'm sorry. Like I did not like him. He definitely gave off some Damien vibes, like weird, creepy Damien vibes. I didn't like him at all. The the husband, like the ex like husband or like the father to Aiden, like he did okay, but he was just there just I don't want to say a throwaway, but he was the video tech guy that helped her out to kind of uncover some of the secrets of the videotape. And
Right.
also very irresponsible that she showed the video to him, knowing exactly what's going to happen. And but yeah, 19 out of 30. I couldn't give it any more just
I'm
because
surprised. I'm surprised you've been as like cool on this movie. I thought you would like it more, especially because you're the horror guy. But
I mean,
maybe I don't know. Maybe to my untrained eye, I'm like too much. I gave it a 24 on the acting. I thought it was overall pretty good, and I liked Aiden's character. I thought it was cool that they didn't like they tricked you a little bit where you're thinking, okay, here's the creepy kid, because he was kind of creepy. And you're
Yeah.
like, he's gonna get like possessed by the ring girl, end up killing his mom. But instead, no, he ends up actually being the most sober-minded one of the whole movie, right? Even talking to his dad and everything, right? And at the very end, when he's like, "You let her out? Why the hell did you
Yeah.
let her out?"
Why? Like, you shouldn't have let her out. Now she's free. And
Yep.
I'm like, oh God, what the hell did she do now?
Oh god, I know. So that was I don't know. I thought he did pretty good. Let's get over into the overall execution of this one in terms of directing. I mean, we kind of touched already on the plot and everything. I thought the
Yeah.
movie moved at a good pace. Like I said, to me, it felt very much like a mystery, and it just kind of sucks you in. You kind of you're trying to figure out what exactly is happening. How's this work? And then even towards the end, I like the little head fake at the end where it kind of almost
Hmm.
gives like a false, resolution. You're like, okay, this is it, and then all of a sudden it drags you deeper, and you realize this story's far from over.
Right. I give the directing 21 out of 30. I like going back to the whole vibe of the movie, the whole tone of the movie. I like that. I like that nothing was bright, just because it kind of, goes with the theme. I really like the opening sequence just because it pretty much mirrors Ringu. And I like like you touched upon, like the ending sequence also. It gives you like that little false happy ending at the very end, but it wasn't a happy ending because you saw that guy's face at the end, like,
Yeah.
that weird contorted face. And I couldn't give it any higher because to me, I felt like it dragged a little bit.
Yeah, really? See, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was I thought that was the interesting part, is just that tension that he built up through it, because really there's no like giant climax of like action, you know what I mean? Like
No,
at the end she
there's
just
not.
gets let loose. So to me it was the interesting part was building up that tension. So that was kind of the interesting part to me. But I kind of see what you mean. I mean, there's not a lot of jump scares. It's more of, like I said, just
No.
solving the mystery in it. But one thing I'll say, getting back to that face, right? The scared face thing. How come none of the authorities thought that was strange? That these
Yeah, like especially the one in the
face like
beginning.
melted, basically.
Yeah, like especially the one in the beginning where she was just in the closet with just like her mouth like 10 inches open
Yeah.
and gray. And they're like, maybe she just got drugs.
Heart attack.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of heart attacks you guys having up there in the Northwest? Jesus.
Yeah, like I don't know. Now I do not want to visit Seattle if that's like a daily occurrence of like a weird contorted face like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't know, man. Like I just couldn't. I just felt like a drag, man. It's
Yeah, yeah, really. Okay.
yeah.
Well then I'm kind of nervous to ask now. So what did you think in terms of X Factor?
X Factor. Hold on. X Factor. 10 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Right. You just get
Yeah.
you
I
pulled the
kind of
same
flipped
trick that
this.
the ring did on me right now. You gave me a little,
Yeah, I
little
gave
head
you I
fake
gave
there.
you like a twist ending right there.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Be-
Just because you're staying on brand, right? Because you're 10 out of 10.
yeah, like that's my shtick.
Yeah,
No, I liked it because and you touched upon this in the very beginning. This was the first taste that Americans got of J horror. And
Mhm.
I love Japanese horror. Like Ringu, Junon, like The Grudge, all of like Takeshi Miki's like stuff. Audition. Shout out to anybody out there who's watched Audition. Great horror movie, really creepy. Like it really hits you hard, especially at the end. Have you watched Audition, like
No,
Steve?
never
Yeah,
even. I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
yeah, definitely check that out. So yeah, and I really like that it finally gave a push to J horror, like to the
It
American
definitely
public.
did. I mean, we named off. There's like 8 or 10 films listed off there that this is kind of inspired and it really opened the door for, and
Yeah,
it kind of interjected some new life into the whole genre. It's giving people
yeah,
a
like
fresh take.
like I
On to
said,
us.
like and this brought on so many sequels. The Ring 2, Rings, like Rings Generations. Like,
Did you watch any of the sequels?
yes, I did. I pretty much watched all of them.
What would you think of them? Any other ones?
They suck.
Okay, all right. Well, there you go. You
Yeah.
think that tainted this one at all for you, or was it
Um.
okay in isolation?
No, I don't. I don't think it did, just because this one will always stand out. I like that in the later ones they kind of fleshed it out to be more modern times, especially
Mhm.
like the latest one, Rings. I believe that was in 2018, which they introduced the internet to it.
That's the one with
Uh,
Frodo,
hmm?
in the mountain. Frodo, no.
No, no. Oh man, you're taking Rich's corny jokes today, and
Someone's got to do it. Actually, Rich is
someone's got
nice
to
in
do
that
it.
joke. Thank you, Randy.
Yeah, rings though was like really good because they introduced like what would happen if that videotape was released in the internet. So like a whole wide
It's
audience
on
was
YouTube.
gonna watch it. Yeah, on like yeah, legit YouTube.
Is that what it
And
was?
and so I like that they kind of fleshed it out a little bit more because
Uh,
you know everyone, the people that watched this in the very beginning, like back when it first came out, and they got really scared by it, they were like trying to make excuses. I'm like, all right, well, what if I'm out in the middle of the desert and there's no phone around? I'm safe. Like, or what if like I'm like just like after the 7 days and then
Come
she
on,
comes
man.
crawling out of the crawling out of
Yeah.
the TV. Well, guess what? I'm just gonna go outside in the street. Then what? Like, what's
Come
gonna
on,
happen now?
man.
You can't follow me in the street, sucker.
Yeah.
So so there was like there was a lot of like
You don't
plot, like I don't want to say
understand.
plot holes. It's
She never
supernatural.
sleeps. All right.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, 10 out of 10 for me. I don't know what you gave it.
I gave it a 4. I thought it was a good
Hmm.
movie. I like it because it just kind of brings me back to that time frame. I remember like watching it back
Yeah.
then. We were like younger, obviously, but overall, I thought the movie aged pretty well. I like the performances in it. I thought it's a pretty good. In the horror genre. I thought it was smart. It wasn't just like a teenage like babysitter
No.
killed movie. It actually they tried to put a little bit of like thought into this, which was cool. But at the same time, like I don't know, there's very few horror films where you're like going to try to revisit that world because usually once you see the monster, kind of the movies, the shine wears off. You know what I mean? And I kind of like
Yeah.
that a little bit with this one too. But overall, I liked it. I respectable. Overall, I gave it a 77. I don't know. What did
Okay. Oh, you gave it a higher score than me. I gave it a 74. Still respectable. And but yeah, and I watched this actually, several times after, the initial release. And I've always enjoyed it. Just not, you know, not as much as I did initially when I first watched it in the theater.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought you were going to come out a little stronger on this one, but hey, overall, I mean, we were pretty close. Um,
Yeah,
Very respectable score, and it was a good movie. I enjoyed it. But that's going to be it for us on our 2020 Fright Cap, at least under this little series.
yeah. I'm kind of disappointed, but hey, 2021 guys. Hopefully, we won't be wearing masks, and we'll have a fresh bumper crop of new horror movies for you guys next year,
Yeah,
and
it
we
was
could
fun.
actually go out trick or treating next year.
Yeah, exactly. But still, I'm not going to eat that horrible candy corn. But anyways,
No, no,
all right.
no.
Well, let's call it then for the Fright Cap 2020. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you guys soon.
See ya. Have a good night.